Hey, sweetie. I'm just texting you to remind you that I won't be home this week as I'm going to spend it with my dad. It's the anniversary of my mom's passing, and I want to make sure I'm there for my dad, and I want to visit her grave to pay my respects. I know a week is kind of a long time, but it's a really difficult time for both me and my dad. I just want to make sure that I can give him the comfort that he needs and that he deserves.
Oh, is it that time already? I guess the year's gone by quickly, huh?
Yeah, I don't know where the time's gone, to be honest, but I still miss her like crazy, and it feels surreal that she isn't actually here with me anymore.
Yeah, I guess it can be kind of difficult, but don't you think a week is a bit too long to spend away from home? I mean, do you really want to spend a whole week with your dad? He's not the easiest man to get along with.
My dad's fine to get along with. You just find it difficult because he's my dad. I bet every guy feels like that when they're married to his daughter. Dads will always be protective over their daughters. It's just the way things are. Doesn't mean he doesn't like you or anything.
Uh-huh, I guess, but who's gonna cook all my meals and clean the house whilst you're away? These are important jobs and they really need doing. You can't just abandon them like you are.
Well, you're a grown man, aren't you? You know how to cook and clean, so you can tidy up after yourself whilst I'm not there. It's not that difficult.
I just don't think it's necessary for you to spend a whole week away. You're the wife, so you should do all the cooking and cleaning and all the other household chores. As the man, I work and make the money, whilst you take care of the house. That's how this thing goes.
By this thing, do you mean our marriage?
Well, yeah.
Uh-huh. I thought so. Well, for your information, that's not how our relationship works at all. I'm not just a housewife who cleans up after you. I have my own job, which contributes towards the household bills, and we share the responsibility of everything else. That's how our relationship works.
Seriously? But you're the woman. It's your job to do all the things that I don't want to do.
What are you even on about right now?
Look, I'm just telling you right now that I'm not cleaning or cooking or anything. If the house is in a state when you get back, then that's your problem that you're gonna have to fix. I'm not doing it for you.
Do you even hear yourself right now? Are you really being that selfish that you'd actually start a fight on the most difficult week of the year for me? Over some stupid cleaning and cooking?
Well, it's not my fault you're leaving for the week. If you don't want an argument or a mess to clean up when you get back, then I suggest you don't go to your dad's house at all.
What? You know how important this week is to me. My dad and I always go to my mom's grave together on the anniversary of her death, so that we can pay our respects together. I'm not going to miss out on doing that simply because you can't be bothered to look after yourself for a week.
Well, fine then, but don't say I didn't warn you.
You know what? I can't deal with you right now. We can deal with this argument when I get back, but for now, I'm going to head over to my dad's house and I'm going to enjoy spending a bit of time with him whilst I'm still able to.
Fine then, but just know you're the worst wife ever.
Whatever. Why don't you go and act like a child somewhere else? As long as you're not bothering me with your pettiness, I don't care.
I'm not being a child. You are.
Yes, because that text isn't completely childish.
Whatever, just leave me alone.
Gladly. I'll see you in a week.
Uh-huh, sure. Hey, Selena.
Marcus? How come you're messaging me? Has something happened? Is everything okay? Is James okay?
Huh? Oh yeah, everything's fine. I just wanted to ask, is today the day that your mom died?
Oh, yeah, it is.
Would you say that this is the worst day of your life?
Well, yeah, obviously. Why?
Well, I just wanted to let you know that this day is about to get a whole lot more worse for you.
Huh? Why's that?
Well, after your argument with my brother the other day, he came to me and told me everything that happened.
Hang on. Do you mean when he was telling me that I shouldn't come and spend time with my dad and pay respects to my mom simply so that he wouldn't have to cook or clean up after himself? That argument?
Yup, that's the one.
Okay then, what about it?
Well, he told me what happened, and I have to say that I agree with him. As his wife, you really should do your duties, which, for you, include cooking and cleaning and maintaining the house for him.
Look, Marcus, this really has nothing to do with you, and to be honest, I really couldn't care less about this conversation today. I've got other, much more important things on my mind.
What, like your dead mother? She's not going anywhere, so there's no need for you to be so short. You got time for a conversation. Besides, she's dead, so she really doesn't take the precedence over my brother, your husband, does he?
She might be dead, but she's still nowhere near as cold as you are.
Jeez, calm down. I messaged you because I have something very important that I need to tell you.
What is it then?
James has decided to divorce you.
What?
Yeah, he said that, considering you're not actually acting like a wife, he doesn't see the point of being married to you. He'd rather find someone who's gonna do the things that a wife should, without having to be told what to do.
You're kidding me, right?
Nope, I'm really not.
Uh-huh, sure. Look, just tell James that I'll be home in a few days and we can talk everything over then, okay?
I don't know why you won't believe me. He's asked me to tell you that he wants a divorce. That's the be-all and end-all of the matter.
Look, not to be mean, Marcus, but this wouldn't be the first time that you've tried to meddle in my relationship with your brother. I want to talk to him about this first before anything else happens. That way, I can get the whole story, and me and James can work on it from there together, okay?
Okay, but don't say I didn't warn you.
Uh-huh, okay, I won't. Marcus? What is going on? Why is my house saying that it's been sold? And where are all of my things? I've tried to message James, but he's not answering. What on earth is going on?
Oh, so you finally decided to return home, huh? It's about time.
Marcus, this isn't funny. What's happened?
I did tell you that James said he wanted a divorce. He decided that if you weren't gonna stay home and look after the house like you should, then you shouldn't have a house to call your own.
So he sold it? How did he even do that so quickly?
Well, he didn't want to live with you any longer, so he put the house up for sale at a very cheap price. He thought that the sooner he could get out, the better. Of course, with how expensive houses are at the minute, and with how cheap yours was on sale for, it got snapped up right away. James now lives with me whilst he looks for somewhere new to live.
I can't believe he's done something like this. All because I went to spend some time with my dad and visit my mom's grave?
Yeah, well, it's taught you a valuable lesson, hasn't it?
What?
Yeah, you should do what your husband tells you to, if you want to live a happy life. My brother earned all of the money for that house, and you couldn't even be bothered to clean it and keep it tidy like he asked for? You're not fit to be a wife or to have a house.
So James just sold it?
Yep, but you know what that means now, don't you?
What?
All the people have moved, leaving you homeless. So, get out of my brother's life, you leech.
You know what? Got it. Goodbye.
Huh? You're just gonna agree like that?
It's what he wants, isn't it? And to be honest, at this point, I'm feeling the same way.
Well, no, you're supposed to beg and plead for James to take you back and then promise him that you'll do everything and anything you can to keep him happy so that something like this doesn't happen again.
Yeah, that's not happening. If he wants a divorce, and if he's going to act in such a selfish, horrible, and immature way, then he can have his stupid divorce. I don't want anything to do with him anymore.
You can't do that. I told him that you'd come running back to him, begging him to take you back if he did what I told him to. You need to just stop being so hard-headed and thinking that you're on the same level as us men. It's not true. Your place is in the house, cooking and cleaning and making sure that her husband is happy. That's what a good wife should do.
Well then, I guess that means I'm a terrible wife, doesn't it? And if what you said is how a true wife should act, then I'm glad to disappoint you and your brother.
But you'll be homeless if you don't apologize to James.
Actually, I think you'll find that I'll be just fine. I'm the one who earned the most out of me and James, and my dad will be more than happy to let me live with him whilst I look for a new place. I'll be perfectly fine, thank you.
But what am I going to tell James? He's waiting for you to come groveling to him. I can't have him living with me.
Well, that's too bad, isn't it? You should have thought about that before you tried to do this little scheme of yours. But I guess you've done me a huge favor, so thank you for that. Now I can truly see just how awful my life would have been if I stayed with someone like James. I would have been miserable. Anyway, goodbye, Marcus. I'm glad I won't have to deal with you as a brother-in-law anymore. You're truly horrible.
No, wait, Selena, you can't just go. It's not allowed.
I can do whatever I want, actually. I'm a free woman now. Goodbye.
Selena, look, Marcus told me what happened this morning between you and him and how you're not answering his calls or texts anymore.
Oh, James? Finally talking to me, are you? Now that your messenger can't do it for you.
Yeah, about that. It was all just a misunderstanding. Why don't you come home and we can sort it all out, yeah?
You sold our home, remember?
Oh, yeah. How about I come to you then? You're at your dad's house, right? I can stay there with you and we can work things out.
No thanks. There's nothing to work out, especially with the behavior you've shown me lately.
Oh, come on, please. If you don't, then I'll be homeless. Marcus is kicking me out, saying that he doesn't want to share his home with me as it's his own private space. You have to take me back. I'm your husband.
No, you were horrible to me at a time when I could have really used your help. Not to mention the fact that you tried to manipulate me into begging you to take me back. You've made your bed. Now you have to lie in it, without dragging me down with you.
That's not fair.
It's completely fair, and you're entirely not my problem anymore. So please stop messaging me. I'll send the divorce papers to your brother's house. So make sure you sign them, otherwise I'll have to get lawyers and courts involved and everything. Anyway, goodbye, James. Have a nice life. After that, I sent James the divorce papers, which he signed for me simply to avoid going to court over it. Luckily, his mom let him move back home until he could find a new place to live. I might not like him anymore, but I'm glad he doesn't have to sleep on the streets. Although, it's going to take him quite a bit of time to get enough money for a house of his own. But that's his own fault. James still hasn't found someone that actually wants to be with him, and I doubt he will with the sexist way he thinks. As for me, I've managed to get my own flat nearby my dad. Now I'm able to see him more often, and I'm able to visit my mom's grave as much as I want to. I also feel a lot happier and a lot less stressed now that I'm single. Leaving James was a huge weight off my shoulders, and I'm glad to finally be doing something interesting with my life. It's never too late to start again.
Hey, I saw you're hosting.
What?
I'm Alice. I'm 16. I'm looking for somewhere to stay. Is your place still available?
What the? Sorry, who is this? I don't have you saved.
I'm Alice from the couchsurfing site.
What site?
I found your details and added you. Don't you remember?
I don't, sorry.
Wow, your number's on the site, you know?
On the site? So someone's put my number online?
Looks that way. It's probably not a big deal. Anyway, do you think you could let me stay? Please?
Is this a prank or something? Do I have to block you?
No prank. I'm serious.
So you're really 16?
Of course I am. A fresh sophomore. I could send you a photo if you don't believe me. We do live in the same city, right? Even the same county isn't a problem for me.
Be serious for a second.
Huh?
You're 16, asking a stranger for a place to stay? Don't you realize how dangerous that is? You can't be too careful these days. There's a lot of creeps around.
What's this? Thanks for the lecture, Dad. Why are you saying this?
Why? Because you're not legally an adult. Do you do this often?
This is the first time, actually.
Make it the last, and I'll get my number off of that site. Deal? And be careful online, okay? It can be dangerous. You mustn't reach out to people like this.
Wait, I don't have anywhere to go. For real.
Just go home, okay?
I have no home. I know I'm asking a lot, but please help me. I have no one to turn to.
I'm really sorry. I'd like to help, but what could I even do?
Could you just hear me out for a second?
What is it?
It's my dad. A while back, he divorced my mom, and I've been living with him since. Recently, he started being abusive. He's been hurting me.
Hurting? Like physically?
It's okay, I can deal with a little. But recently it's gotten more frequent. Like, if housework isn't done, or if my grades are bad. Or if anything isn't how he wants. I'm always terrified of him. I can't handle much more. So I guess I've run away?
Have you told anyone about this?
I have, yes. I've actually discussed it with one of my teachers, but they don't seem to be doing anything. Maybe they're concerned about interfering? Anyway, I've had to get away.
I see. I'm sorry to hear about your situation. Where are you now?
Near the subway.
All right, I think I can help. Could you take a taxi? I'll send you the address for my parents' place. I'll let them know the situation shortly.
Wait, you believe me? Even though I could be messing with you?
Honestly, I think it's worth trying in case you are serious. It's probably best I don't come to meet you. This is a sensitive situation, and we need to be careful. However, my parents will welcome you if you're okay heading to them.
Really? I don't want to be a burden.
Don't worry about that. If you're truly in need of help, that is.
I am, really.
Then we'll help you get everything you need. Would you let me deal with your dad? I just want to talk for now.
You can try. Sorry, I mean, yes, please, Mr. Everett. But why would you do all of this for a stranger?
Never mind that. Excuse me for sending a message out of the blue so late in the evening. Your daughter Alice gave me your contact details. I am John Everett. Hello? How do you know my daughter? She seems to have contacted me by mistake, and we've been talking as a result. Did she really? Sounds like something she'd do. She could be a handful. Sorry she bothered you. You need something from me? Actually, I would just like you to know that Alice is at my parents' place. They're keeping an eye on her at the moment. Your parents' place, huh? That's right. From what we've discussed, it seems she doesn't want to return home? I thought it best not to meet her myself, so asked my parents to do so instead. I see. Well, again, I'm sorry for all this. I'll head over immediately. That may not be necessary, sir. Why not? Alice has confided in me about her life at home. What about it? Well, seems she doesn't have a very stable relationship with you. So I contacted you to get a better understanding of the situation. I figured if I'd spoken with you, she might consider heading home. Okay, seems there's no problem then. What do you mean? She's in high school, you know that, right? She thinks her life is difficult and confusing right now. A lot of kids that age become very emotional and start acting out. Their relationship with their parents becomes strained. It's real common. Running away isn't normal, though, is it? And she's become quite the liar. Like a pathological liar, you know? Like a compulsive liar? That's right. She lies constantly. She's put me through hell with it all. Her teachers have even questioned my parenting because of it. I don't know what she said to you, but don't buy it. You're probably not the first person she's tried to pull this on. Anyway, I guess it's best I come get her. What's the address? Adults know best, huh? Seems you've been taking advantage of that phrase recently. What? If you told her teacher what you just told me, I think they'd have no option but to believe you. Okay, what's that supposed to mean? It means that whenever Alice sought help, you would just explain the situation away, like you've just tried to do with me. Oh, I see. So you're saying you believe the lies of a minor over her father? Got it. In that case, I'll have the cops resolve this. Do you think it's a smart idea for you to get the police involved? Yeah, I think it's pretty normal to go to the police when there's been a kidnapping. This isn't kidnapping. I simply wanted to know about Alice's life at home. I have nothing to say to you. The sooner this safekeeping charade is thwarted, the better. What are you talking about? Is there a woman in your life? I'm single, if that's what you're asking. Of course you are. Found yourself a schoolgirl to groom, didn't you? You're disgusting. That's not what this is. If you don't want the law involved, you'd better let my daughter go right now. I can picture the story now. Middle-aged loner desperately preys on underage girls. I'm a widower. I'm sorry to say I lost my wife a few years ago, and I have no desire to replace her. Lies. I could see your profile, you know? You don't even look 40. How's your career going? 'Cause it'll be hard to find work when you're a known sex offender. You're finished. What is this? A sudden mood change and threatening words. This is congruous with what your daughter has told me. Let my daughter go right now. I don't need the opinions of a pervert. Stay in your own pathetic bubble. I can't bring myself to return a child to a potentially dangerous household. What the hell are you saying, man? My mother has discovered injuries on her. A lot of injuries that were concealed by clothing. It would be immoral to subject her to more of such treatment. Cool, man. Expect the police real soon. You've just admitted to stripping a 16-year-old. So I hope you like prison life, you piece of garbage. Alice will be well looked after. Well, I guess I'm gonna be when I see a return on my investment. You're not gonna interfere with that. Not that you could. Investment? Right. You think I'd have kids just for the trouble of raising them? I'm gonna marry her off to the son of someone important before long. What are you talking about? This is what kids are for. This is traditional behavior. Don't you know that royal families in Europe used to marry their children off to each other for power? That's why people have kids. They may try to deny it, but it's a fact. Be honest, what do you want from yours? I'm sorry. I don't completely get what you're saying. Moron. You must want something out of your kids. Like maybe have them care for you in your old age. Financial assistance when they're working. Like I said, they're an investment. You know what an investment is, right? I don't have kids. I can't believe that would be the only reason to have them, though. Your views on raising children are upsetting. Must be nice being free to do whatever, whenever. It's gonna bite you in the ass when you're a lonely old loser, though. Maybe you could pretend you're Alice's father for the evening. You can bring her back tomorrow. You're leaving your own daughter out all night? I have my own plans tonight. Don't need this ruining them. But remember, you're a creep who's violated a girl's rights. You have no options here. If she's not back tomorrow, I'll go to the cops. Have a great night. I told you last night, didn't I? Could have just brought Alice home to save yourself a whole lot of trouble. But no, you had to screw yourself. I'd rather the cops brought Alice home anyway. Enjoy your ride to the station. If this is how you want to do things. Feel free to file a report. However, I'd appreciate if you wait until CPS can assess the situation. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Then I'll have to hope they begin their investigation before the police interfere. Why are you trying so hard to ruin me? My apologies, sir. But I can't return a child to an abusive household. I must seek protection for Alice. What protection? Protection from what? You think you could just separate a girl from her father? Nothing can happen without my permission, idiot. Of course, in a normal situation, you'd have some say. But the injuries you've inflicted on your poor daughter raise concerns about her safety. And I'm afraid the CPS can and will have her removed from your home. Alice has already shown the desire to get away, has she not? She doesn't really want this, does she? Seems so. My father was a lawyer, and we discussed everything last night. He's helped Alice understand her options. It wasn't easy for her. She cried the whole time. But ultimately, she decided to involve the CPS, and we intend to help however we can. Liar! A lawyer, how convenient. You're just worried about the cops showing up. Because you're a pervert and a kidnapper. I'll admit the police might interfere for now. But we have faith that the CPS will help Alice before long. Finding suitable foster parents may take some time. She's even suggested I adopt her. Regardless, all that matters is that she's out of your reach. You, a known pervert, adopt Alice? You can't. I've got to take her to meet her future husband next week. I might not get the chance again. You're ruining everything. Children aren't tools. I mean, seeing as you're not the European royalty of the Middle Ages you admire so much. But even if you were, I'm sure your unfortunate disposition would be a significant obstacle in realizing your plans. Oh, and by the way, seems we have a mutual friend involved in all of this? Ugh, that's just great. Yeah, Alice told me about your work, and I happen to have worked with some of your colleagues over the years. Nice try, hotshot. I know we don't work together, dumbass. Yes, you're right, but my company has collaborated with yours many times. I even have Mr. Miller's personal phone number. What? How? This isn't fair. My boss. I feel obligated to tell him about your treatment of Alice, but I hope it doesn't affect your job. I guess it seems like you're losing out on your little European marriage fantasy. That's not the only thing you're losing, though. Looks like you'll need to find a new job, too. With that, I decided to ignore any further messages from Austin. He didn't know where I lived, so I wasn't concerned about being harassed. However, I still asked those with connections to him to be careful with my personal information. Unfortunately, Alice had to change schools, but she didn't seem to mind too much. She said she'd like to stay in touch with old friends, but she understood it may be difficult with a fresh start. She was very positive about her future. I later heard from Mr. Miller regarding her father. Seems he was let go from his job and fell quite spectacularly. He turned to alcohol, which led to his involvement in a physical altercation. He's now making a living doing day jobs. As for me, well, I actually went ahead and applied to adopt Alice. My application was successful, and I've been acting as her legal guardian since. She's been no trouble at all. My parents are over the moon, too. My disinterest in remarrying made them lose hope that they'd ever have grandchildren. Now, they visit so often, I'm more or less providing for all four of us. I've always believed everything happens for a reason, and Alice's messaging me must have been some kind of miracle. I'm sure my late wife is watching, astounded. And I know she would have loved Alice too. Of course, we're both still getting used to each other. But I think if we just take things step by step, someday we'll truly be family.